If you can see and hear me, bear with us a minute. We're having technical issues here, probably related to the power fluctuations we're having from the windstorms. Am I on?
We should be back on.
Okay. Well, let's hope that is our glitch for the day. Yeah. But we're having some just horrendous wind gusts, and we've got power outages all over the county. Yeah. Well, actually, quite a wide area, more than just our county. So if we have an issue, this will be why. Okay. So bear with us. This is truly beyond our control. Now, one thing I really hate, and I've said this for a long time, it just gets worse and worse and worse. I'm fed up with the idea of a nanny state. I'm fed up with the government. I don't care if it's state, city, national, who feels that it's their job to keep me safe. Now, yes, I want my restaurants inspected. I want my food sources inspected. You bet I do. But there's just some points, it's just day-to-day life. Get out of my business. Just get out of my business and let me make my own decisions. A good case in point, and this is a legacy of good old George W. Bush. He signed this back, I think, in 2008. Yeah. Well, no, actually 2007. He signed the Energy Independence and Security Act into law that mandated that low-efficiency light bulbs be gradually removed from production. What that means is if you go to Lowe's and you want to buy a 60 or 40 watt incandescent light bulb, you better do it if they got them, because they are no longer being produced. They are no longer being imported. They're allowed to sell out what they've got, the stocks that they've got, but there will be no more coming in. You've got to buy those high efficiency
energy saver bulbs.
Some of them are fluorescent and whatnot. And okay, here's my heartburn. I'm getting to an age where, in order to read, I like a nice bright light. It makes it a lot simpler. Okay. I love halogen. Used to get halogen floor lamps. They would light a room. It was wonderful. It might have cost more money to run the halogen, but I was glad to pay it. It was coming out of my pocket, right? I was glad to pay it in return for nice bright light that I could see and read by. I do a lot of crossword puzzles. I do a lot of reading, and I need to be able to see. Shut up. I need to be able to see, okay? It's not just, people getting older that need this. Younger people need it too.
Well, you got to hurry up because we're supposed to take a break.
Oh, well, fine. I'll tell you what, you take a break. We come back. I'll tell you about what you can do if you still like your light bulbs. We'll be back right after this on The Raw Nerve. I'll see you in a sec.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft, to parts and service and apparel. Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs, and they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 1st Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
Make a difference in your community and volunteer at Kitsap Humane Society. We have opportunities for everyone and need help in all areas of the shelter. You can clean, feed, and help socialize animals, or answer phones, greet customers, and help run special events and fundraisers. KHS volunteers also lead programs including our foster program, canine training, and animal-assisted therapy. If you are interested in volunteering at Kitsap Humane Society, visit our website at kitsap-humane.org.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. I've partnered with Ish Vintage Clothing, the Oxford Suites, and Parties by a Perfect Place to create our unique boudoir, glam, and pinup parties, which is perfect for a girls' night out or bachelorette parties. You choose your theme, get your hair and makeup done, play dress up for the evening, and then receive an accordion booklet of your photos, plus an 8x10 of your favorite photo. For parties or 7 or more, the hostess is free. For more information about our unique parties, visit my website, ElaineTersophotography.com.
Hey sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Video Me Productions combines technical experience with a keen eye to produce high-quality videos. Video Me Productions is experienced, passionate, and creative. Video Me puts out high-quality videos from commercials to weddings and family gatherings to concerts and live events. Call Video Me today and find out how their video services can help you. 360-620-4888 or visit their website to see video demos of their work at videomeproductions.com.
And welcome back to the Raw Nerve, only on Edge Media Source. Don't forget you can log on to our website or give us a call at 253-617-1440, or you could tweet us at hashtag the Raw Nerve. Nope, I screwed it up. I blew it. Well, now Susan can tell you. Here's her host, Susan C. Your turn.
Thanks, Dennis.
Sure.
We're having fun tonight. Can you tell? If you're going to do something in life, have fun with it. Now, if you want to tweet, you tweet at hashtag Edge Media Source.
Oh.
Hashtag
I was so close.
You were close, but no cigar. You shouldn't smoke anyway. It's bad for you. So, there's nothing bad in nothing worse than a reformed anything.
Yeah.
That's the truth, too, I'll tell you.
If you're going to do something, be wholehearted about it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a quitter.
Well, I'll tell you, before the break, I was talking about the fact that you can no longer manufacture 60 or 40 watt incandescent light bulbs in this country anymore. You can't import them. You can't manufacture them. You can sell what you've got. And there are people out there, about 30% of the people in a Sylvania survey said they were going to start stocking up and stockpiling what's out there. But you're in case you haven't noticed, they've already done this to 175 watt bulbs. You cannot go in the store and buy a 100 or 75 watt incandescent bulb, regular incandescent bulb anymore, unless you find somewhere that happens to have an old one laying around. But what they have gone to, according to Noah Horowitz, director of the Center of Energy Efficiency for the Natural Resource Defense Council, that sounds like something we really need, doesn't it? He identified 3 major types of bulbs that you can choose from now. Apparently, more efficient incandescent bulbs, also referred to as halogen incandescents, light-emitting diodes, otherwise known as LEDs, and compact fluorescent lamps, CFLs. Okay, my heartburn, CFLs, the little fluorescent squiggly ones, they take too long to get to their full brightness. They have to warm up. And that's just annoying to me. It really is. And I don't like sitting at red lights, okay? I am not a patient woman. I am the first one to admit it. Just drives me crazy. And the bottom line is, I don't think, especially LEDs, they don't put out enough light. And I'll tell you something else. What was it? About 2 months ago, went to the store to get some light bulbs. And I'll tell you, when you're going to be asked to pay $9 to $12 for a pack of light bulbs, it gives you pause. I was amazed. We went to Lowe's, I think it was. And I couldn't believe it. I actually had to go get someone to come over and help me figure out what I wanted to buy. And I've never had somebody help me buy a light bulb in my life. That's just bizarre. But anyway, just want to let you know, next time you go to the store and you want to get a light bulb, the hundreds of 75s were phased out in 2011 and 12. And now, as of January 1st, they have phased out the 60 and 40 watt. That's important because those are the two most popular sizes of light bulbs, the 60 and 40 watts, most commonly purchased. So it's going to impact people the most. So most people put in their lamps. I go for the 150. Yeah. I want thermonuclear.
Take x-rays in the house.
Yeah. I turn on a light. I want to see, shadows burned into the wall. Yeah. It's I do like it bright. I can't help it. I'm one of those people that if I don't have enough light, it's depressing to me. And I start feeling like an owl. And no. Don't like it. Now, this cracked me up. You know how you buy anything? I don't care if you buy a lawnmower, you buy a hair straightener, you buy a toaster. They have the little warning stickers on them saying, do not operate this. Do not operate a lawnmower more than 45-degree angle. Really? Yeah. Idiotic things like that. You're like, only an idiot.
Like wash, rinse, and repeat?
Yeah. Although, the guy that came up with that idea of printing wash and repeat on shampoo bottles made the shampoo industry billions. I wonder if he got a cut of that. Because it's really silly. You don't have to wash and rinse and repeat. It's done after the first one. But, excuse me, this cracked me up. This absolutely cracked me up. A pimp, P-I-M-P, a pimp, in Portland, just south of us here. He's suing Nike. Talk about David and Goliath here. But he's suing them for not placing a warning label in their shoes specifying that they could be used as a dangerous weapon. Kid you not. This after he was sentenced to 100 years in prison for brutally beating a John with his sneaker. Okay, so he turns around. His answer to this is sue Nike.
Sue Nike.
Even if he won, he's in prison for 100 years. What, 100
Who
years
cares?
worth of top
What's he gonna
ramen?
do? Yeah.
He can buy ramen for 100
Yeah,
years?
he's got his grocery list full.
I guess, I swear. He could be making, toilet hooch or something with that. I don't know. But Sergio Giro Clardy, 26 years old, claims Nike should have placed a warning in the shoes warning consumers that the kicks had the potentials to be used as a dangerous weapon. Now, this is according to the Oregonian newspaper. Clardy is seeking $100 million for what he believes was the shoe manufacturer's oversight. Now, in June, Clardy repeatedly stomped on the face of a client with his Jordan Nike shoes when the man refused to pay Clardy's prostitute because he's a pimp, okay? The man required stitches and plastic surgery after the beating. Now, Clardy was sentenced to 100 years in prison for beating the man as well as attacking an 18-year-old prostitute so violently she bled from her ears. Although they don't say he did that with his shoes, too. So I don't know.
That's deep.
He might have a second lawsuit out there pending somewhere. Now, my Lord. Clardy's been charged with numerous felonies and misdemeanors, according to the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. The jury in Clardy's most recent case called him a, quote, dangerous offender, you think, and classified his shoes as, quote, a dangerous weapon, unquote, because that's...
So long as they're on his feet.
It's an aggravating circumstance in sentencing. Yeah, if you use a dangerous weapon. They did that to assure that he received the longest prison sentence possible. Now, Clardy wrote the 3-page complaint against Nike from the Eastern Oregon Correctional Institution, where he is incarcerated, and will be for a very long time. In the claim, he said that Nike, quote, failed to warn of risk or to provide an adequate warning or instruction by not cautioning that their shoes are potentially dangerous. The suit has not yet been served to Nike, the Oregonian said, and Nike spokeswoman Mary Ramuzzi said the company had no comment regarding the lawsuit. Now, not only is this high on my list so far this year, and you're short, but he's way up there now for the stupidest person of 2014 in my book.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he's way up there now. Way up there.
Oh,
Under
yeah, the
his-
guy that stole the ferry was last year, huh?
That was last year.
Dang.
Yeah, he's going away for a long time, too. Not 100 years, but he's going away. But under his thinking here, his thought process here, every stripper on the face of the planet,
What?
every stripper should have warning labels in her shoes. Have you seen the shoes strippers wear?
On them scrippers?
Oh, my Lord. There's a reason they're called stripper shoes, because they have like 8 to 12-inch stilettos. And I'm telling you, if you took that and you kick somebody with it, you're going to give them a real pain.
Yeah, some puncture wounds.
You're gonna pierce parts that weren't meant to be pierced. You can't say that anymore. I guess there's nowhere that wasn't meant to be pierced anymore. Used to be you could say that.
Oh, I can still say that. There's parts that don't need to be pierced.
I don't know. I watched, Jackass, Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
It was late at night.
They'll pierce anything.
It was late at night. It was better than infomercials. That's my only defense here. He actually went and had his hiney cheeks pierced together briefly.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I'm going, why?
I don't know.
Why? People are strange.
Yes.
Pardon me while I try to get situated here. Now, I tell you, the weather here has been really, really wet. It's been really blustery, but we got the hugest break. If you saw the weather map when the polar vortex was coming, doesn't that sound like a really bad sci-fi movie?
That sounds horrible.
Polar vortex. That's right up there with Sharknado. It really is. But if you saw the map of the country, there's like a little sliver up here in Washington that wasn't involved in it, and it went down south and came back up the East Coast. Barely. Most of the East Coast was in it. And I'm like, that's where we live, right there. And we're not in it.
Amazing.
Great. It was amazing. It really was amazing. And I really appreciate
I saw
it.
this picture that was floating around. In fact, my cousin's wife had posted it. It was from the Midwest there somewhere. And it was a lighthouse over Lake Michigan that
Yes.
was completely froze over.
Yes, completely encased in ice.
Yes.
I saw that. That's amazing to me. And I was watching a video of people who lived right off the coast of, I believe it was Lake Michigan. Mm-hmm. And these people are standing here, and you see them looking out over the water, and there's a lot of white. And you hear this weird noise. And I'm like, what in the world is this? And as you watch, the ice is pushing slowly forward. And it is an ice sheet that is broken up now because it hit land. It's being pushed over land. But the wind is blowing this ice sheet off the lake. And these people are standing around watching this, and it's just coming closer and closer and closer. And they're like, wow, look at that. That's cool. And I'm like, are you idiots? Run. There's no getting around this. There's no getting over it. There's no avoiding it. It's just
get away from
from it. That's all you can do. I've seen these when the wind pushes it in hard enough. Actually, we will knock houses off foundations.
Yeah.
It will destroy everything in its path because it's very heavy.
It's Earth. It's moving.
It's not Earth. No, it's just ice.
It's part of Earth.
It's okay.
It's
part
moving.
It's part of Mother Nature, and she's ticked.
It's a chunk of Earth that is moving. I don't care what you say.
Well, I was sitting there watching, and I'm like, how can you be so excited about no.
It's coming
And
to get you.
If you watch the video all the way, it comes up to the back of the houses, and they're just like freaking out because it broke through some windows. I'm like, yeah, it will. It will break through the doors. It will break through your windows. It will push your house off the foundation, and you will have no house. I'm like, it's not something I ever want to see, ever, ever, ever. But I'll tell you something, it is so cold. It has been so cold. In Frankfort, Kentucky, there we go. An escaped prisoner actually turned himself in. Kid you not. He turned himself in because he was so cold.
Yeah, I would too.
That's really sad. Authorities say the inmate escaped from a minimum security facility in Lexington, and as temperatures dropped in the low single digits on last Monday, he walked into a motel and asked the clerk to call the police. 42-year-old Robert Vick of Hartford told the clerk he wanted to turn himself in and escape the Arctic air. And, I'll tell you, he was checked out by paramedics and returned to the Blackburn Correctional Complex. But wind chill readings were 20 below zero in Lexington that day that he turned himself in. 20 below. Could you imagine? I've been concerned about the homeless people, and I know
Oh yeah.
warming stations open up anytime the weather gets nasty, and they open arenas and theaters and places like that, large areas, stadiums, to let people get in out of the weather. But I worry about the people who won't go to places like that because, well, you can't take your pet, like they can't take your dog. And no, I'm not going to go in there and watch my dog freeze to death on the porch because I couldn't bring him in, you know. And they were all over the East Coast, especially. There were law enforcement agencies that are coming out saying, if you leave your animal out in this weather, you will be cited. And I read that and I'm like, good. I'm so tired of people saying, well, the dog has a fur coat. They're quite comfortable sleeping under a blanket of snow. Maybe if they're huskies that were raised in Alaska to pull sleds, they get used to that. Otherwise, they're just like if you were buck naked and not wearing nothing but a fur coat and you went out and laid down on the ground. How comfortable would you be? If your answer to that is not very, bring your animal in. That's it.
Yep.
And I'm reading stories all over Facebook of animals that froze to death, and I'm like, do these people just not care? And if not, how can you not care? I don't get that. I really don't. Now, here's a guy right after your heart, Dennis.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm scared.
I wondered about this. I saw it on a few different agencies reported on this.
I'm not wanted by that many.
A self-proclaimed, and anytime you have to say self-proclaimed, you're probably not. But a self-proclaimed professional Bigfoot hunter, Rick Dyer, has finally released the photos of the hairy monster he allegedly shot and killed last year.
Really?
Yes. Bigfoot is 100% real. There's no question about that. He told KSAT.com. Dyer said he shot and killed the mythical monster in a wooded area of California near Loop 1604 and Highway 151 in September 2012. Until Thursday, this is last Thursday, Dyer provided no clue of his kill outside of a grainy video he shot of the creature. Now, the video was included in a documentary called Shooting Bigfoot. I missed that one. Yeah, I don't know how, but I missed it. It failed to convince skeptics. Now, following a dispute with his investors, Dyer told KSAT he was able to reclaim the body and released a photo of Bigfoot on his website. Every test you can possibly imagine was performed on this body, from DNA tests to 3D optical scans to body scans. He said, it's a real deal. It's Bigfoot, and Bigfoot's here. And I shot it, and now I'm proving it to the world. Now, he invited more than 100 people to come see the body up close for themselves. He said, we wanted to get people's reactions, make them believers, and we did it to over 130 people. We definitely made them believers. He promised this time he is not simply crying wolf. This time. Bigfoot is not a tooth fairy. Bigfoot is real. The most important thing to me is being vindicated, letting people know that I am the best Bigfoot tracker in the world, and that's just not me saying it. He will take the body on tour across North America, where he will charge a fee to view the body. Now, if you caught this, you might have noticed, as did I, that the only picture posted is one. And it is a carefully cropped picture like this. That's it. And I'm sitting there thinking, that could be somebody's Uncle Elroy's sleep. I'm serious. This is the best he can do. Yeah. Anytime you are a self-proclaimed professional, anything, you probably aren't. Okay. And, the definition of being professional is you get paid to do it. I don't know. Who pays you to hunt Bigfoot out there? I, for one, I'll go out on the limb here. I will make it clear. I hope that there really is a Bigfoot. I hope that there is a Loch Ness Monster and all of these mysteries that are out there. I hope they're real, at least a majority of them. And I hope we never find them. Because if we find them, we will kill them. And that would be bad. And the mystery would be over. I like the idea that life has mystery to it. There's things you're going, I wonder. So yeah, I hope Bigfoot is real. All of them. Champ, Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
Yep. I hope they're real. I really do.
Well, Loch Ness Monster can't happen. There's nothing for it to eat in that lake.
The Loch Ness? Mm-hmm. Of course there is.
No, there's not.
Who is it? Jeremy Wade, who does that fishing show. What is that?
Yeah,
The
River
Dangerous-
Monsters.
River Monsters, yeah. He actually went looking for Nessie.
Uh-huh.
And they used all sorts of tracking devices. And there are some big fish. in
There,
Loch
but
Ness.
there's nothing really to eat.
They're down deep.
Even the down deep, there's nothing that grows in that lake.
Well, the fish that are there,
It's silt.
the good-sized fish are eating something.
Each other.
And then Nessie eats them. Right?
Sure.
Like that. Critters in the water. You ever see a shark? They eat other fish.
Yeah. They do the
Yeah.
sharks, too.
They do. They like them.
Cannibals.
I know, it's terrible. It's like, have you ever looked at fish food? I have an aquarium.
That's nasty.
I have an aquarium. Have you ever looked at what fish food is?
They eat poop.
It's fish. Fish food
Is fish.
is fish. Dried, flaked fish.
And fish poop.
And I don't doubt it, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is this enforced cannibalism? Yeah, I felt terrible. I really did. I'm in a mood. Can you tell? I felt terrible. My poor fishies. Now, I've heard of it in a joking sense, but I never had any idea there was such a thing in reality. Out of McLeod, Oklahoma. Of course, Oklahoma.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. A former Marine, which I suppose means he should have known better, is accused of killing his stepfather. The way police
Did
said
he use his Nikes?
No, even better. Even better. The way police said he killed him has left many absolutely speechless. Brad Davis, 33, is under arrest for taking a high school prank to a deadly level. Investigators say Davis and his 58-year-old stepfather, Denver St. Clair, were drinking together, never a good sign, inside the family home a few days before Christmas. According to the police affidavit, tempers flared when St. Clair began speaking ill of Davis's mother, as is wont to do. A fight broke out. Yeah. Davis claims that his stepfather swung first, but the domestic dispute intensified when Davis knocked his stepfather unconscious, grabbed his underwear, and gave him an atomic wedgie. So no, he didn't use his shoes, he used his BVDs.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, really? I read this and I'm like, really? Oh my, I would love to read the
Hanes,
police
still
report.
sponsored by Michael Jordan. It's all Michael Jordan's fault.
Man, it's those Fruit of the Loom guys, I'm telling you. Aiding and abetting.
Michael Jordan.
Aiding and abetting. Well, you know, Michael
The
Jordan.
Jordans, and then he's a Hanes representative, too?
Yeah. Go figure. Go figure. Well, apparently his underwear was pulled up over his head and the elastic band was around his throat. The medical examiner reports the cause of death was a combination of blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. And with the blunt force trauma, that's a whole other issue, too. One of the two, either one, but it was bad. After the fight, Davis called 911 to report what happened, but police believe he tampered with the crime scene to make it look like he killed St. Clair in self-defense. When they say he tampered with the crime scene, does that mean he removed the underwear from over his head?
Had to have.
Could you imagine? I've heard of an atomic wedgie all my life. I
Okay,
went to high
but
school.
that is that's a whole new level.
I had no idea you could actually do it.
That's making my butt hurt because that's the
How big was these underwear?
huge,
He must
Had
have
to
been
be.
wearing really oversized underwear for his size
huge.
to be able to do it. But that's just kind of amazing. Just kind of amazing. Oh. Now this, I was really glad to hear this because it's the first of the year. It's the beginning of the year. What happens every year? Everyone makes resolutions.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
stop smoking. They're going to drop 5,000 pounds. They're going to make their lives better, whatever. Well, makers of a weight loss additive called Sensa will return more than $26 million to consumers to settle federal charges that the company used deceptive advertising, claiming that consumers could lose weight simply by sprinkling the powder on their food. I was so glad to see this. It's about time
They
the
had to
Fed
own up.
step in. Well, there are all these weight loss products out there
Oh,
in
yeah.
the market that are, as your mama used to say, if it sounds too good to be true, it
Too good to be
probably
true.
is. It's too good to be true, right? And they just keep advertising it. I'm like, is nobody watching this? Is nobody looking into? Apparently, somebody finally is. Sensa Products LLC promoted the powder through the major retailers like Costco and GNC, and with infomercials on the Home Shopping Network and other television networks. I know I've seen the commercials before.
Wow.
The company sold 1 month's supply of Sensa for $59 and urged consumers to sprinkle, eat, and lose weight. But Federal Trade Commission officials said Tuesday the company used bogus clinical studies and paid endorsements to rack up more than $364 million in sales between 2008 and 2012.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. At $59 a pop,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people desperate to lose some weight. And the thing is, all of these, when they say you don't have to change your lifestyle,
You do.
they're BS. If it says, you can eat what you want, you don't have to exercise, just take this supplement, take this powder, do whatever, you'll lose the weight, it's BS. Okay? Only one thing on the face of the planet ever dropped a pound off a human body.
And it wasn't Atkins.
No. Well, in a way, if the number of calories you take in is less than the number of calories you are burning in a day, you will lose weight. And that's it. That's the only way to take weight off. Supplements and all kickstart your metabolism, boost your energy levels, did you? Please. Even energy drinks don't really give you energy. They trick the mind into thinking you have more energy than what you do. It tricks the brain's chemistry, but you really don't. So if it seems too good to be true, yeah. And I tell you, I'm really, really tickled that they are cracking down on these guys. I hope there's more of them. The government settlement with California-based Sensa is part of a broader crackdown on 4 companies peddling weight loss products, including food additives, skin creams, and dietary supplements. The chances of being successful just by sprinkling something on your food, rubbing cream on your thighs, or using a supplement are slim to none. The science just isn't there, according to the FTC. They will also collect $7.3 million from Lean Spa, a company that promotes acai berry. I don't know how to pronounce it. Acacia berry, ACAI. Never could pronounce that. Acacia berry and colon cleanse. Okay, somebody sells you a colon cleanse. It's X-Lax.
Yeah.
It's excellent. It's a laxative.
It's going to make you poop for a month.
You will sit on the toilet till you think you have grown to it. Okay? That's what a colon cleanse does. Yes. And people, it just breaks my heart. There are a lot of desperate people out there want to lose the weight for whatever reason. Because, I don't know, society's told them you're not good enough unless you look like this gal on the cover of this magazine who in real life doesn't look like this because she's been airbrushed. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break for the top of the hour news, and we'll be back right after this. Hang in for the second hour of The Raw Nerve. I'll see you in a sec.
Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strained. Faces come out of the rain when you're strange. No one remembers your name when you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down.
I'm Janine Herbst. Iran is supposed to start rolling back parts of its nuclear program starting January 20th in exchange for some sanctions relief. Now that this interim deal is going into effect, the U.S. and other world powers have 6 months to negotiate a more complete agreement with Iran. NPR's Michelle Kellerman reports.
Secretary of State John Kerry calls this the best chance to resolve a critical national security issue. Starting January 20th, he says Iran will freeze parts of its nuclear program. And then he says the even harder part begins, negotiations to clear up all of the questions about Iran's nuclear ambitions.
We are very clear-eyed about the even greater challenges that we face in negotiating a comprehensive agreement. We understand it's going to be a tough negotiation.
The U.S. is offering Iran some limited sanctions relief during these negotiations. Many U.S. lawmakers want to tighten sanctions to keep up the pressure. But Kerry says negotiators need some room. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, with the Secretary in Paris.
Penn State has a new head football coach. NPR's Debbie Elliott reports the school hired Vanderbilt coach and Pennsylvania native James Franklin.
University President Rodney Erickson says James Franklin is the right person to run Penn State's storied football program.
He's an inspiring young leader who has accomplished much already in his career, learning the ropes of coaching in both the collegiate and NFL ranks. I believe he will continue to build our Penn State football program while operating at the highest level of integrity.
Franklin, who's 41, led Vanderbilt to bowl games in his 3 years there. He'll become Penn State's 16th head football coach, succeeding Bill O'Brien, who left to coach the NFL's Houston Texans. O'Brien replaced Joe Paterno amid the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse scandal. Debbie Elliott, NPR News.
Senator Charles Schumer of New York says a federal rail safety agency plans to propose a rule requiring cameras on trains to monitor drivers and record accidents.
They are taking an important step forward in making these life-saving cameras a reality. They will begin the process of installing the cameras this year.
Schumer, along with Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, says the Federal Railroad Administration's plan would put the cameras in train cabs, one facing the driver, the other facing the train tracks. Schumer says the new cameras would be invaluable.
They're a simple, straightforward safety strategy that can deter misconduct and mistakes and detect defects in the track or equipment and debris.
Both Schumer and Blumenthal have been pushing the Railroad Administration to act following the deadly commuter train derailment in New York City. When Wall Street opens tomorrow, it will open to mixed results. This is NPR News from Washington. Pope Francis continues to shake up the Vatican establishment, announcing 19 new cardinals from some surprising places. As NPR's Ader Peralta reports, Francis didn't name any cardinals from the United States and chose instead to represent poorer nations.
16 of the cardinals are younger than 80 and will likely be eligible to vote for the next pope. Among them are archbishops from the Ivory Coast, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Nicaragua, and Haiti. Candida Moss, who's a professor of theology at Notre Dame, says in the past this group would have provoked amazement and speculation. But with Francis, bold moves have become business as usual.
The fact that he's picking cardinals that represent poorer nations is in keeping with the message of ministering to the poor that we've heard from him thus far. So that's not surprising.
The church's new princes, as they are known, will receive their red hats during a ceremony in February. Ader Peralta, NPR News.
The governor of West Virginia says initial tests on waters spoiled by last week's chemical spill are encouraging.
The numbers look good, and like last night, they are very encouraging. I believe that we're at a point where we could say that we see light at the end of the tunnel.
But Earl Tomlin says hundreds of thousands of people affected by the spill still can't drink it or bathe in it. At least 32 people have been sickened by the chemical spill, and officials say 4 were hospitalized. Officials with the West Virginian American Water Company say once those water supplies are declared completely safe, then the systems will be flushed out and service will be restored. But the company says that will be done on a zone-by-zone basis, which could take a couple of days. I'm Janine Herbst, NPR News in Washington.
Support for NPR comes from the George.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. I've partnered with Ish Vintage Clothing, the Oxford Suites, and Parties by a Perfect Place to create our unique boudoir, glam, and pinup parties, which is perfect for a girls' night out or bachelorette parties. You choose your theme, get your hair and makeup done, play dress up for the evening, and then receive an accordion booklet of your photos, plus an 8x10 of your favorite photo. For parties or 7 or more, the hostess is free. For more information about our unique parties, visit my website, ElaineTersophotography.com.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Make a difference in your community and volunteer at Kitsap Humane Society. We have opportunities for everyone and need help in all areas of the shelter. You can clean, feed, and help socialize animals or answer phones, greet customers, and help run special events and fundraisers. KHS volunteers also lead programs including our foster program, canine training, and animal-assisted therapy. If you are interested in volunteering at Kitsap Humane Society, visit our website at kitsap-humane.org.
Markets is a new company based right here in Kitsap County, committed to providing your business with the total marketing and printing solutions. From awards and plaques to calendars and planners and everything in between, Markets can handle your promotional needs. Plus, since Markets is a small company, they can offer lower prices and quality customer service. If you need to get your business name out there, you need to call Markets, 360-633-7931, or visit them online at mark-itz.com.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel, Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs. And they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
And welcome to hour number 2 of the Raw Nerve on Edge Media Source. You can give us a call at 253-617-1440. You need to stop. And, yeah, I'll let her tell you the rest. Here's your host, Susan C.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. Chicken. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the second hour of the Raw Nerve right here on
Welcome
Edge
back
Media
to
Source.
it. They just got there.
Well, if they waited for us through the news break, I'd like to acknowledge people for being patient and sticking with me, and I appreciate it. On the other side of the glass, making a total idiot of himself tonight, is Bad Boy Dynasty. Hi, darling.
You know, I'd leave if I didn't need a ride home.
I know, and I bet you, that's a long walk, darling. That's a long walk. Well, I'll tell you what, be sure and now give out the phone number.
617-1440, area code 253.
Yes. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Smoke another one, lady.
I don't smoke anymore, thank you. Unlike some people I could mention. Anyway.
You do too. You just suck on one of them electric sticks.
It's tobacco free. My doctor loves it. Anyway.
It's smoking.
Be sure and you can tweet me at hashtag EdgeMediaSource and find out what your opinion about this stuff we're talking about, because we're having fun. I got to tell you, this has been a fun show. It really has. A lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of weird stuff going on, a lot of interesting stuff too. And I got to thinking over the break that the last story I was talking about at the end of last hour was how the FTC is going after these weight loss companies for false advertising, basically stealing your money. Since the cream you rub on your thighs to get rid of cellulite, remember that? Yeah. No. And I'm like, there's a lot of false advertising out there that goes on. And there's something else going on. I don't know if you've noticed or been aware of it. I'm sure the powers that be hope you aren't. But my significant other and I have discussed this at length before because it drives us crazy. We're being had as a people, as a huge group here. We are the victims of, I'm going to say, deceptive advertising every day. Now, how could that be, Susan? Allow me to explain. Example, I found this sitting around the studio over the break. And it's an Arizona tea. It's got Shaq on it. I don't know why, but we've all seen Arizona teas, right? A lot of people in the summertime especially drink the Arizona teas. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. You look on this and it says, 90 calories. Wow. That's not bad. I could drink, 2 or 3 of these a day, stay hydrated, not a lot of calories. I'm in good shape. That's 90 calories per serving. Now, what would you think? You look at this, you go, well, that's a serving. Kind of big, but it's a serving. No, if you look at under nutritional facts, serving size is 8 ounces, 240 milliliters. Servings per container, approximately 3.
Oh.
So the manufacturer, Arizona Tea, says this is about, which means probably
3
more,
servings.
Probably more, but about 3 servings at 90 calories a serving. So if you have 3 or 4 of these a day, that's a significant source of calorie intake. When you think you're being good, right? Right. Happens all the time. I notice this a lot. I've started paying attention to this because, like I said, my husband and I, we just are irritated to no end.
Well, everything is bigger now.
Well, smaller. Okay? This is big, but it's more than 1 serving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a product out there called Lloyd's Tub-O-Meat. Okay, Tub-O-Meat. I will call it Tub-O-Meat. But the brand name is Lloyd's. It comes in a tub, and it's barbecue beef or pulled pork or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm scared.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good. It's great for when you're in a hurry, like I come home from work and make the kids pulled pork sandwiches or something like that and veggies for dinner. Not bad. But they used to come in a tub like this, okay? They now come in a tub like this. And they have a hump in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that hump does is limit the amount of product that can go in that tub. Tub looks bigger than it really is, and it shrunks considerably. But it's even smaller because they put the hump in the middle, so there's less product to go in there. What they do is they charge you the same amount for that tub with the hump in it that they charge for that tub. Okay? Then they come back and their attitude is, aren't we a great company? We're the company with a heart. We haven't raised our prices in 3 years. Yes, you have.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Sky high by a significant margin. Because if you're, the whole thing now is you buy by unit. Okay? You look at the shelf tag for the price, and it will tell you by unit, which is like by pound or by roll or whatever, this is how much you're actually paying. That's how you comparison shop in the grocery store. By unit, you're paying a whole lot more because you're getting a lot fewer units for the same price. Okay? Some things, the little hump in the bottom makes a little bit of sense. Some wines, they say it makes a difference. I don't understand that because I've heard people who are pretty hoity-toity about their wine, I can tell you that, who actually like certain box wines. And I figure if a wine can come out of a box and people who know wine say they're a decent wine, I'm not thinking you need a hump in the bottom of the bottle. The indent. The indent. Yeah. Country Crock. I loved Country Crock butter, margarine, because you'd buy a big tub. It'd last for a long time. But now that big tub that was like this is like this. Same price, but it's a lot smaller. This is where they're getting you. That plus the fact that they'll say something is light, low calorie, whatever. Give you the impression that it's good for you. Okay? And it might be something this big. But if you look on the label, we've got to become a nation of label readers. I swear to God, we really do. If you look on the label, it will say that is 2 or 3 servings. It may only be 15 calories per serving. Because I put on the front, say only 15 calories per serving. But that's 2 or 3 servings.
Yep.
Just like this is approximately 3 servings. That would be I hate soda. I'm not a big, I guess.
That'd be a day's worth right there.
I guess this isn't, I don't know. Is this soda?
Tea.
What is it? blueberry cream soda.
Oh.
So I guess it's soda. I don't drink soda pop. I've never been a fan of soda pop. But that's about 3 servings, they say. So that's the sort of thing that absolutely drives me.
Or I guess it's okay if you're the same size as Shaq.
Well, that'd probably be 1 serving. If your hand fits this, like my hand fits a Coke, then it's probably 1 serving. If not, it's not. It's real simple here. But that's just something that has absolutely been driving me out of my mind. And my husband and I get really, really irritated about it. It's like they're doing this with everything. Everything. Squares of toilet paper are smaller now than they used to be. Granted, you got to be old enough to remember when things were different, or at least have paid attention at some point along the road. But they're smaller. Trust me on this. So you're getting less product for the same price or a little bit more, and they come back and say, well, we haven't raised our prices. Yes, you have. Bottom line is, it's not so much you're getting cheated as, in my way of thinking, you being lied to. And I hate to be lied to. You know, come out and be honest. Come out and be honest. Leave the toilet paper the same damn size sheets. Okay? Raise the price. It makes sense. Don't make them smaller and then charge me the same price and act like, aren't we great? No, you're not. I'm buying less product. And that it applies to anything. It's like eggs. Go figure. Eggs. How simple could eggs be? It comes out the chicken, they wash them off, they stick them in the carton and ship them off. How easy. This is now a large egg. Have you noticed this?
Smaller chickens.
I guess so. They're raising them smaller. This is now a large egg. When I was a kid growing up, that would be a medium to small egg. Yeah. A large egg was more like this, and a jumbo egg was damn near a turkey egg, okay? Or a duck egg. It was big. A lot of times they were double yolkers if they were jumbos, because that's why they're jumbo. But this is a sort of marketing that has come over this country today. It's rampant. It's everywhere. It's in damn near anything you can buy that is usable. What do you call it? There's a term for it, and it's eluding me at the moment. Something that you use up. Okay? I'm not talking about like clothing or something like that. But if it's toilet paper or it's salt or because you get a smaller tub of salt now. The box. It's like coffee. Coffee used to come in a 3-pound can. Everybody knew the 3-pound can of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 2.6 or 2.7 pounds. 2 pounds, 6 ounces, 2.7 ounces.
They had to get it all metric.
Well, that ain't even metric, honey. That ain't metric. That's telling me the can has shrunk. And I tell you, because there used to be a ton of things you did with 3 pounds.
Because a 2x4 is not a 2x4.
No, it's not. Actually, you're right. I read that somewhere. A 2x4 is not a 2x4. Why is that? I remember reading that.
I don't know. But it's actually more like a 1 3/4 by a 2 3 3/4 or something like that.
It's like ridiculous. They've shaved it.
Mm-hmm.
They've shaved it a little bit, yeah.
And as for the 2x4s, 2x2s, 1x1s, all of the same thing.
Yeah. And it's just that sort of thing that should make people go nuts. It does me. Of course, for me, it's a short trip. But when you come to me and say, I'm going to charge you X number of dollars for this product. Now, you have competition. Just about anything you can buy, there's competition. If I look over there and they're selling, and I look at the unit price, and they're selling more product for the same price or maybe a little bit more, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to buy them. And that's just the way it works. That's smart shopping. It really is. Paper towel squares are smaller now. The rolls are smaller than they used to be. Used to be a roll of paper towels is like this. Now a roll of paper towels is like this. It doesn't look like a huge difference. But trust me, when it comes to product manufacturing, that 1.5 inches, 2 inches, it's a big difference. That represents a lot of product. It's a lot of paper. And it adds up. It's like I've said all along, since I've been doing this show. The problem with this country isn't the companies want to make a profit. We are a capitalistic society. We were designed and built to be capitalistic. Hot dog, more power to you. Mazel tov, wish you all the best. But we've come a long ways from the days when people were, and companies and corporations were happy to make a decent profit, a reasonable profit. Nowadays, they have to make an obscene profit. And that's where I think we've crossed the line. I read the other day that something like all of the country's wealth, the vast majority of the country's wealth, monetary wealth, is held by like 30% of the population. 30% or less. That's a real huge disparity. Really huge. It's talking about the 1%, the people who have all the money and all the power. If you're running Johnson & Johnson's and you're putting out the baby shampoo that everybody buys, and instead of putting out a bottle like this, like we used to buy baby shampoo like this, the bottle's like this now. Same price, less shampoo. That's profit in your pocket. That's profit at the end of the year. You can go before the shareholders and say, we made this much profit because we didn't make as much product, because we shorted the amount of product we're putting in. Smaller bottles, less product, more profit. And the thing that really drives me crazy is the fact that people don't seem to recognize this. People don't seem to notice it. I find that almost frightening. I told my husband, I cannot be the only person who goes to the grocery store and gets in a bad mood just trying to get my, week's groceries here. Because I'm seeing what has been cut back, what has been made smaller, what is, you're getting shorted on, and in a word, cheated. No kidding. No, it's just like there's a thing on Facebook going on right now, if you've seen it. Somebody went to like one of the cafes in the CenturyLink Arena where you go to get a hot dog and beer and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you can't afford each of those places.
Oh, no. I'll tell you, it's ridiculous. But they got a cup that is I guess a medium and a cup that is a large. Now they charge $1.25 more for the large than they do the medium or small or whatever size it was. Okay? $1.25. They took that full glass of the large and poured it into the smaller glass, and it all fit. They poured it back into the large one, and it fit to the brim. Why? This glass, the smaller glass, is a little bit bigger around. The taller glass is taller and a little bit narrower. They hold the same amount of fluid. So these places in CenturyLink are charging you $1.25 more for absolutely nothing.
Or nothing.
Nothing. I'm sorry. Back in the old days, that was called theft.
And bait and switch and all sorts of good things.
Yes. Oh, it is bait and switch of the highest order. But they sit there and show you back and forth, and you're like, oh my God, no. It doesn't terribly surprise me because I'm one of those annoying people who notice stuff like I've been talking about. And I know it's rampant. It's everywhere. I'm telling you. But, there ought to be something. There ought to be a law. I swear, there ought to be a law. Say that when you make a product, if you make it smaller, you have to advertise that the product is smaller. And I'll tell you what, only make things that are in single serving. Things like soda pop and snack foods, and not like a bag of chips or something, but make them in single serving so people see, oh, that's how much I get for that, what I think I'm paying. Yeah. That would go a long way. It's truth in advertising. I'm a big fan of it. There's not a lot of it out there, but I am really a big fan of it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
No, anymore it doesn't. They can't do that to things that you don't use up, like clothing and whatnot. That's really, it's hard to do. Yeah. But I'll tell you, if they could get away with using a thinner yarn or a skinnier thread, and that's how rife it is. It's everywhere. Your box of cereal has shrunk. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's shrunk. You're paying a lot more now for a box of cereal than you did back when you got a big box, usually with a toy in it, no less, too. Those were the days. They've shrunk. Cans of coffee have shrunk. It's amazing to me. I'd be almost surprised if a gallon of milk is really a gallon of milk. That's how bad it's getting. It really is. But
no way to shrink the cow.
Yeah. I miss the 3-pound can of coffee because there's a lot of things you did with the can when you were done with the coffee. And
Yeah, we went out and played kick the can.
Well, they were hand. Well, it's the old coffee cans are a great thing to use to collect your used
For
cooking oil.
storage and everything.
Well, you use cooking oil. That's
Yeah.
what I don't like to pour it down the sink, and I
No.
don't want to throw it. Just so I put it in empty coffee cans, and I can have a can under the cupboard for a long time until it gets full.
Yeah.
And not as long now that it's only.
And then where do you got to
2.6
dispose of it at?
pounds. Well, then you can put it in the garbage, but it's not hot. It's not hot, and it's not getting into the water supply. The water in the water table, whatever, in the sewer systems. Yeah. So what do you do? Just something I've noticed that has been driving me just a little nuts. Just a little nuts. Well, let me see here. Okay, well, real quick here, I'll let you know that the brand new mayor-elect in New York City, he's getting off to a great foot. Oh, great start. One of his first things he wants to do is ban horse-drawn carriages in Central Park. As you might imagine, people are up in arms. Even Liam Neeson, the actor, has waded into it and said, no, you can't get rid of the horse-drawn carriages. They're iconic.
Yes.
That's
like saying we're going to get rid of skyscrapers downtown.
Yeah. Well, he's claiming it's inhumane to the horses. Now, in 30 years, there have been 3 horse fatalities.
Are they going to take the cops off the horses too?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's inhumane for them too, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't think they could do that in New York. You have to have the horse. Put
them on bicycles.
Well, I suppose you could, but
That might be inhumane on the cops' butt.
they use the horses though for riot control because they're so big. Bicycles don't have quite the same.
That's inhumane though.
I
Horses
know.
weren't made for that.
I know. My husband and I this last summer we went to Seattle and had dinner on the waterfront. We were debating about going on the big wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Found out it's like $30 a ticket to ride the big wheel that just does this very slowly.
Yes, it goes in a circle.
And we decided, rather than do that, we'd pay a little bit more and take a carriage ride. And I'll tell you, it lasted a whole lot longer than that ride on the Ferris wheel, the big wheel. And it was a blast. I'll tell you, the gal that was driving the horse was so knowledgeable and told us more things that we never had a clue about. The buildings, the architecture, the history of Seattle and whatnot. It was fascinating. It was really a lot of fun. And we really enjoyed it. I couldn't imagine taking them out of Central Park. Let's let some things just stay, okay? We don't have to change everything. Jeez. We're going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour for a few minutes. We'll be back right after this. It is the Raw Nerve. I'll see you in a sec.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Lubbock College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Make a difference in your community and volunteer at Kitsap Humane Society. We have opportunities for everyone and need help in all areas of the shelter. You can clean, feed, and help socialize animals or answer phones, greet customers, and help run special events and fundraisers. KHS volunteers also lead programs including our foster program, canine training, and animal-assisted therapy. If you are interested in volunteering at Kitsap Humane Society, visit our website at kitsap-humane.org.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Markets is a new company based right here in Kitsap County, committed to providing your business with the total marketing and printing solutions. From awards and plaques to calendars and planners and everything in between, Markets can handle your promotional needs. Plus, since Markets is a small company, they can offer lower prices and quality customer service. If you need to get your business name out there, you need to call Markets, 360-633-7931, or visit them online at mark-itz.com.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel. Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs, and they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 1st Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
And welcome back to the Raw Nerve. You give us a call at 253-617-1440. Or you could do that other thing, that hashtag nonsense. Anyhow, here's your host, Susan C.
Hashtag nonsense.
Nonsense.
Oh.
It's nonsense, I say.
Bah humbug. Yeah. That would be hashtag EdgeMediaSource, yes.
Yeah.
Tweet.
There you go.
Tweet, like the little birdie said.
I don't Twitter. I just don't.
I know, I don't tweet.
I haven't grown into Twittering.
No, I haven't.
I got to Facebook and stopped.
I have to admit, I have not mastered texting yet.
Oh, that's...
My children think I'm archaic, but...
You have to go to acronyms college to know how to do that.
Whatever happened to just, pick up a phone, dial it, and, hi, how you doing? Nobody talks anymore. I don't know why they have phones. They're not talking. I swear. Well, in the last, I believe it was last hour, we were talking about the feds cracking down on fraudulent weight loss products. There we go. I can talk. And I really love it when I hear about the federal government stepping in, doing what they're supposed to do, which is protect us from misleading and fraudulent manufacturers out there, salespeople. And I'll tell you, they're also cracking down in another area, which is car dealerships. Now, I will tell you right up front, the vast majority of car dealerships that you're going to run into in this country are above board and legitimate. What they say is what you get.
They're still car salesmen.
However,
they're all politicians.
There are some.
In practice.
There are still some that are, shall we say, shady. Okay. The feds are cracking down on misleading car ads, which is about time. Because buying a car can be one of the most expensive and complicated purchases a consumer ever makes. Boy, that's the truth, too, I'll tell you.
Just because Cal Worthington died, don't mean that the rest of them are legit.
That's true. Some unscrupulous dealers are making it more complicated and far more expensive than buyers might realize. This is according to federal authorities who announced results last Thursday of a nationwide crackdown. Working with local authorities, the Federal Trade Commission won consent decrees from 9 dealers, with a 10th facing court challenge, alleging that they engaged in a variety of deceptive practices that could in some instances inflate the price by a vehicle as much as a third more than advertised. I don't know if you bought a car lately, but a third of the price of a car is a significant amount of money nowadays. A lot. Now, a senior FTC official warned that such fraud is far more widespread and could very well cost average American car buyers billions of dollars in higher vehicle prices and illegal fees. When you sign all those papers when you buy a car, are you paying attention to what you're signing? Good question. That's sort of on the online, yes, I have read and accept all terms and conditions. Yeah, right. Click. People don't read it. Excuse me. We've alleged these dealers used a variety of misleading ads to get people into the showrooms, because that's 3/4 of the fight right there. Now, they were announcing their Operation Steer Clear program, with more than 20,000 new car franchise dealers in the U.S. Finding fraud involving 10 retailers might seem minor. But Rich stressed that while there are plenty of car dealers who do want to do the right thing, the problem of deceptive automotive advertising is all over the country. The FTC received about 75,000 complaints regarding car dealers during the most recent year it tracked, making it the 8th largest category for the agency. 75,000 complaints. That's a lot in 1 year. People were upset. Now, Operation Steer Clear identified a variety of fraudulent practices. Fake sweepstakes meant to draw buyers in the showroom to see if they won a big discount on a new car. But in one case that the FTC targeted, Rich said, not a single consumer, not one, won any of the listed prizes. How often do you get those in the mail? Sweepstakes, big pricing. This is your key.
Junk mail.
Bring it in and see if it opens something. Or, come in and let us scratch off your scratch ticket and see what you won. No. Hidden financing and other charges that could inflate the price of a car advertised at $15,000 by as much as another $5,000. Hidden. You don't see them. They don't talk about them. You don't see them until you get you sign your life away and see what that final purchase price is. And that's frightening. That's where you talk about sticker shock. And also advertised teaser prices that didn't make clear that the payments would balloon substantially after a few months. You know how many times, and it's not just cars, but there's a lot of products out there. You buy them at this great rate, and a lot of times it's services like phone dealers have had this. Cable, Verizon, AT&T and T-Mobile and all those. They've had those before. Introductory prices. After a few months, they balloon. Well, such practices are a bad way to do business and are against the law, said Rich. The 9 dealers that signed consent decrees are in California, Georgia, Illinois, North Carolina, Michigan, and Texas, while the 10th dealer is in Massachusetts. FTC officials said they are continuing the investigation, though it's unclear if additional dealers might be charged. Now, under the law, the agency couldn't levy any initial fines. Thank you, law. Though in some cases, consumers can get redress on illegal charges, and as part of the consent decrees, the 9 dealers face significant penalties if they violate the rules again. Fines that can run to $16,000 a day. Now, that just might make some of these guys sit up and take notice. That's a huge, huge fine. So I'll tell you, I like it when I see where they're actually, the feds are cracking down and protecting us from things they need to be doing. I don't need them deciding that I don't need a 60-watt incandescent light bulb because it's not energy efficient enough and it costs me too much money to burn that bulb. It's my money. I do the budget. I decide if I can afford the light bulb or not. That still irritates me. It really, really does. It sounds strange, but it really ticks me off. Now, this is something that struck me as sort of, you've got to be kidding me. Who did this study? The Department of Justice is urging school districts, to pull back on suspensions which often derail students from graduating and can saddle them with a criminal record. The Highline School District is already seeing success in its campaign to have no suspensions by 2015. The feds say overly zealous discipline for relatively minor infractions can lead to the so-called school prison pipeline. that disproportionately affects minorities. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder told students at Frederick Douglass High in Baltimore that routine school discipline should land a student in the principal's office and not a police precinct. You remember those days? You act up in school, you misbehave, you get sent to the principal's office. You get that really awful, awful feeling in the pit of your stomach because you know they're going to call your mom. Yeah. That was discipline. That was punishment. You suffered. You suffered at school, and then when you got home, you suffered again. And more often than not, you straightened up and flew straight. Yeah. Now, the Highline School District recently adopted a policy to eliminate out-of-school suspensions by 2015, except in cases of student safety. The district's data shows suspensions and expulsions decreased annually. They've been doing this all along. They said that when they're talking to prison inmates, if you go back and look at their middle school, early high school years, maybe the discipline had been handled differently. They could have stayed in school and had a much different life. No kidding. We're dealing with school administrators that suspend children, little children, small, young children who make mistakes for bringing the little toy gun from a G.I. Joe to school. They're suspending kids that bite their Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun, sort of, and point it at somebody. They're sending these kids home, putting them on the beach, as they say. These suspensions go in your record. They go in your record. Good luck. This is a 5-6-year-old kid getting suspended for something totally insanely stupid, like having a little tiny toy gun, or saying something somebody doesn't like, or even, God forbid, going bang, bang on the schoolyard. Bang, bang. They're suspending these kids. What are you going to do years from now when they've grown up, they've matured, they've put their nose to the grinding stone, they've gotten good grades, they've done really well, they're looking for a college. It's hard to get into a good college nowadays. Competition is fierce. Your permanent record, what they used to always threaten us with, our permanent record, does follow you. And I guarantee you, a quality college is not going to take somebody who's had 1 or 2 school suspensions, doesn't matter when or for what, against somebody who has never had any trouble with the school. And that's just not fair. Not for the colleges, but for the schools to pin that on kids. Used to be, in the good old days, kids had beef. They got in trouble with each other. They got, angry with each other. They'd meet somewhere after school and they'd settle it. 99% of the time, that was the end of it. Very often the kids would end up being friends after that. But they settled it. As kids do. I'm not saying I think kids should be out there wailing on each other, but come on, there's a happy medium. No matter how you look at it, there's a happy medium. And sending kids home from school for being children, suspending them, that is idiotic. That's an educator I think needs to go back to school. And think of the poor parents. The kid gets suspended for something totally stupid. Now the parents, most of them, mom and dad both work because, well, gee, that's the economy we live in. We like to feed the kid too. And now you have to worry about what am I going to do with the child for however long they're suspended. And some of these kids who have been suspended for like bringing a toy gun to school have been suspended for the remainder of the school year. That's a long time. Yeah. So because they acted like a child at 6 or 7 years of age, heaven forbid, you're going to make it that much tougher for them, no matter how hard they try to straighten out, work hard, get good grades, get ready to, go out there in the world. You're going to make it that much harder down the road for them to get into a decent college. And you feel good about yourself? You call yourself an educator? No. I absolutely respect teachers. I think it's one of the hardest jobs on the face of the planet, and you are so underappreciated if you're a teacher. Absolutely, hands down. But I got to tell you, and this is not so much coming from the teachers usually, it's coming from the school districts. Idiotic rules. If it has anything to do with a GUN, real or imagined, throw the book at the kid. Get him out. We can't have that. Really? No. This is just not right. It is just not right. And that sort of thing just irks me to no end. All I ask for is a little bit of common sense in this life. I don't think that's asking too much. I really don't. Apparently it is. Apparently. Because nobody seems to want to put it out there. But a little common sense when you're dealing with children. And for the love of Pete, if you are an educator, like in administration, you should have advanced degrees in child education. You should have advanced degrees and study in child development, childhood psychology. Guess what? I don't have an advanced degree in childhood psychology. I've only raised 3 children. And I can tell you this right now. Children will act like children. Every single time. Children will lie. They'll look you right in the eye and bald-faced lie. You betcha. They will cheat. They will steal things because they're children. The good news is that 99.9% of these kids, as they mature, grow out of it. They really do. Let's not take what kids are doing when they're little and they're in elementary school and they're being kids and use it to destroy their entire future. I don't think that's quite, call it fair. Yes, I know, life isn't fair. But I got to tell you, there are limits to how far I think an educator sitting in a school district office somewhere should be able to take things. I really do. I think there's a limit. Let's see. Coming down to the top of the hour, I'm telling you. Some things I want to make sure you heard about. If you shop at Neiman Marcus, excuse me, you know how everyone's been upset and all of Twitter because Target over the holidays got hit by a hacking system. Well, guess what? They weren't alone. Yeah. Now, Target has come out and said that they've upgraded the number of victims that they expect to have been hacked from 40 million to 70 million. Wow. That's a huge difference. And we're talking everything from account numbers, PIN numbers, customers' names, addresses, phone numbers, this sort of thing. We're talking the whole enchilada here. Well, Neiman Marcus got it too. Excuse me. Luxury merchant Neiman Marcus confirmed Saturday that thieves stole some of its consumers' payment card information and made unauthorized charges over the holiday season, becoming the second retailer in recent weeks to announce it had fallen victim to a cybersecurity attack. The hacking, coming weeks after Target Corporation revealed its own breach, underscores the increasing challenges that merchants have in thwarting security breaches. Now, Ginger Reeder, spokeswoman for the Dallas-based Neiman Marcus Group, said in an email Saturday that the retailer had been notified in mid-December by its credit card processors about potentially unauthorized payment activity following customer purchases at stores. On January 1st, a forensics team confirmed evidence that the upscale retailer was a victim of a criminal cybersecurity intrusion, and that some of the customers' retail and debit cards were possibly compromised as well. Now, one thing I've got to ask that jumps to my head immediately is, really? They were notified in mid-December, before Christmas, that this had happened. But they didn't come out and say anything to anybody until after the first of the year, after the holiday shopping season. They wanted as many people in there, as many bodies with as many credit cards shopping as they could get. And then after that crucial holiday shopping, now we'll let you know. They might have got your credit information. Really? Way to go, Neiman Marcus. Boy, you guys, great way to stand up for your customers. Looking out for them every step of the way. I really appreciate that. I don't know about you. Now, they would not estimate on how many customers may have been affected, but said that the merchant is notifying customers whose cards it now knows were used fraudulently. The ones that they know were used fraudulently. Neiman Marcus, which operates more than 40 upscale stores and clearance stores, is working with the Secret Service on the breach. We have begun to contain the intrusion and have taken significant steps to further enhance information security. Robert Siciliano, a security expert with McAfee, a computer security software maker, says it's possible that Neiman Marcus doesn't yet know the extent of the breach. He says he believes that Neiman Marcus and Target thefts were likely committed by the same organized group, based on his experience and the fact that the incidents happened at around the same time. It's a knee-jerk reaction that the security industry has right now, he added. Now, Target disclosed Friday that its massive data theft was significantly more extensive and affected millions more shoppers than the company had announced in December. As many as 70 million customers. The Minneapolis-based Target announced December 19th that some 40 million credit and debit card accounts had been affected by a data breach that happened from November 27th to December 15th, just as the holiday shopping season was getting into gear. Notice here, Target came out December 19th and told its customers, we think we have a problem. Neiman Marcus, hoity-toity Neiman Marcus, waits till after the first of the year and all the holiday shopping is done. Really? Wow. They even wanted to make sure they got the people that come in right after Christmas and the first of the year to get the big sale items. Yeah. Then they inform their customers. I don't know. If I were a Neiman Marcus customer, which I am not, and at this point never will be, I would be a little upset. That would kind of, I don't know, chap my hide right there. Just so wrong. Just so wrong. I'm talking about just so wrong. Yeah, wait a minute. I'll tell you about this. It's better. In on an up note. I like an up note. Talk about life imitating art. You see it in movies. I've seen it 100 times. You know, you're going along on an airplane. All of a sudden, the stewardess comes on. Is there a doctor on board? We could use some help. Right? How many movies have you watched that started like that? Yeah. Really happened. According to NBC, Linda Always was relaxing with the Sudoku puzzle on a flight home to Southern California from Iowa for the holidays, December 30th, when the flight crew asked if any passengers could provide medical help. The registered nurse from Camarillo quickly volunteered. The flight attendant took her to the cockpit for the medical emergency. The pilot was slumped in his seat. That would give me pause. No kidding. After years of pediatric intensive care, Always was thankful she had recently recertified her advanced cardiac life support. He was clearly suffering from a possibly fatal arrhythmia, she said. Her husband, Alan, and another passenger helped move the captain from the cramped cockpit to the galley floor. Always and another registered nurse, Amy Sorensen of Wyoming, went to work. They hooked up the diagnostic defibrillator and started an IV. They stayed with their patient right through the emergency landing in Omaha. We couldn't leave his side. Fortunately, it was a smooth landing. Paramedics met the United jetliner on the tarmac with the pilot still alive, to the sighs of relief from the nurses and the co-pilot. Her actions were heroic, according to Alan Alwise. She didn't hesitate for a second. When the interrupted flight resumed the next day, Linda Alwise found herself seated next to the co-pilot from the night before. She got brought up to date on the captain. They were able to get him into a cardiac unit, and he had survived. Figure the odds. I mean, on the surface, it sounds like a lot of bad movies have been put out there, but I'll tell you, it's really nice to know that there are still people willing to step up when the need arises. There are a lot of people, and don't kid yourself, there are a lot of people with medical training, right up to doctors. I'm serious, who, when there's an emergency like this, very often won't say a word. They don't step up. Granted, a lot of the time that's because of a fear of liability, being caught up in some sort of I'll get sued, things will be bad, it'll be bad publicity, whatever. I really appreciate the fact that there's people out there willing to say, I don't care, this is somebody's life. Maybe I can make a difference. Kind of like the fact that, did you know that if you have a heart attack in pretty much Western Washington now, but Seattle especially, you have a higher chance of surviving that heart attack intact than anywhere else in the country. That's how good our hospitals and our doctors, our paramedics and our EMTs, our first responders, have gotten at recognizing the signs and symptoms, dealing with them, and getting you to the hospital alive. It's amazing. It really is. I love it. So I don't know. I think it's really nice. People will stand up and say, I can help, and not worry about being sued, and not worry about looking bad, and not worry about, yeah, really. There's just way too much of that these days. Way too much of that. It's really sad. Well, just to let you know, in recap, boys and girls, what have we learned today? Read your labels. That is 3 servings. Read your labels. I don't know, it's just one of those things that irks me to no end.
Well,
I'm sitting here staring at it. It's making me angry.
Mr. Dog from the
Mr. Dog
from that other show that comes on after ours. He has a brilliant question. I'm gonna turn the mic over in his direction.
Do you have to? All right. What?
What's up?
Hi, darling. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm in a mood today.
Hey, I just got a question for you.
What?
Are you doing a show next week from 5 to 7?
Yes.
Because there is a football game, a little football game on at 3:30 next week. So you're going to do a show next week?
Yeah.
Okay, that's dedication.
I will tape it.
I just wanted to give you props and
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now that when you come in to do your show after mine, if you tell me who won or anything about it before I go home and watch my taped version of it, I will kill you.
So I'm glad you told us this because you know that we're either going to come in here very happy and elated dancing, or we're going to come in here crying.
You better come in here like this.
Good luck.
We know nothing.
We're gonna come in here. We're gonna come in here like Muslim women. We're gonna have veils over our face,
burkas and all.
Burkas and all. Yeah.
And I'll be down. I'll be reduced to. Are the burkas wet? Are they wet? I don't know.
Hey, I wanted to give your listeners a heads up. Coming up on our show coming up next. Actually, at 7:30, we're going to speak with Barb Den,
which is the Outlaw Radio Network.
That's right. Barb Den is. You might have seen her. She's been on CNN, Good Morning America, NBC. She's been nationally. She's a nurse practitioner, but she's also done a lot of media stuff, a lot of media interviews. But we've had her on our show several times. She's going to join us tonight to talk about this outbreak of the flu that's been going on nationwide, including the H1N1. She's going to give us some really good tips, give us an idea how it's spreading, how the CDC is dealing with it. We're also going to, if we have time, one of the things that's been near and dear to her heart is our mental health treatment situation in this country.
Absolutely.
And with the Sandy Hook shooting a year ago and some of the other stuff we've seen since then, it's a conversation we're going to get into. Her is from her opinion, from a medical standpoint, is how does our country handle those that are in need of medical treatment? So from a mental health standpoint, so we'll let your listeners know.
And I hope that she reiterates to people the necessity of getting your flu shot. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to make you grow a third arm. It's not going to make you autistic. Get your flu shot.
Well, that's one of the questions we're going to ask her, because there's a lot of people that really believe the flu shot is the worst thing known to man. It's going to give you cancer. It's going to kill you.
The flu shot or any vaccine
give you
for that
polio.
matter.
It's going to, it's going to give you.
It's going to make you gay. It's going to turn you. Yeah.
There's a lot of rumors out there, so we'll ask her about that as well.
That's really good. So be sure and stay tuned for that. That's on the Outlaw Radio Network. Following my show. Immediately. Love you too, darling. And I will be back next week. On Mrs. Seahawks Plane. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
What you doing to me?
Herbst. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon will be buried Monday. He died Saturday after 8 years in a coma. NPR's Emily Harris has more.
A steady flow of visitors passed Sharon's flag-draped coffin Sunday afternoon. Sharon was a controversial leader. He resigned as defense minister after an Israeli commission held him responsible for allowing mass killings in 2 Palestinian refugee camps. That was during Israel's 1982 invasion of Lebanon. Almost 2 decades later, Sharon's provocative visit to the site both Jews and Muslims consider most holy in Jerusalem helped trigger the Second Palestinian Uprising. Noam Colt paid his respects on Sunday.
I'm here not for a personal reason and not necessarily out of admiration, but because I respect the institutions and take pride in the state of Israel.
Sharon will be eulogized Monday at a ceremony in the Knesset and buried at his family ranch in southern Israel. Emily Harris, NPR News, Jerusalem.
Iran and 6 world powers agreed today on a plan to implement a deal they reached last November, which eases economic sanctions on Iran in exchange for the country stopping portions of its nuclear program. Secretary of State John Kerry praised the deal.
For the first time in almost a decade, Iran's nuclear program will not be able to advance. In fact, parts of it will be rolled back. While we start negotiating a comprehensive agreement to address the international community's concerns about Iran's nuclear program.
Officials say the 6-month clock starts on January 20th when Iran agrees to limit its uranium enrichment to 5%, a grade commonly used to power nuclear reactors. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is defending New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in the wake of the developing bridge scandal. NPR's Nathan Rott reports that Giuliani is one of several Republicans expressing support for the potential 2016 presidential candidate.
Some Democrats assert that Chris Christie had a hand in creating a traffic jam on the George Washington Bridge last year as political retribution against a Democratic mayor who didn't support him. Christie has strongly denied involvement and fired 2 of his top aides. On the Sunday talk show circuit, some Republicans came to Christie's defense. Rudy Giuliani was on ABC's This Week, and he said that he believes the New Jersey governor when he says he wasn't involved.
He says he didn't realize. He says he didn't know. I think it's pretty darn credible. He wouldn't make this blanket denial.
Other Republicans coming to Christie's defense included Karl Rove and RNC Chairman Reince Priebus. Nathan Rott, NPR News.
Asian markets are higher at the opening bell. The Nikkei in Japan up 0.2%. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong jumped 0.9% at the open. It has pulled back a little already. U.S. futures contracts are trading lower at last check. The Dow Jones Industrials futures contract was down 21. This is NPR News.
And I said, no, I'm not, because the left...
Hundreds of thousands of residents in West Virginia still can't drink the water or bathe in it after last week's chemical spill. But the state's governor, Earl Tomlin, says water tests are encouraging, although he still has no timetable on when it will be safe to use. The tainted water has forced the University of Charleston to close its main campus. School officials say they can't operate without clean water. Meanwhile, a group of software developers in that state are helping lead the charge to get safe, available water to those some 300,000 residents who been affected by the ban on tap water usage in the state's capital city and surrounding areas. Dave Missert of West Virginia Public Broadcasting has more.
Logan Spears of Syntropy LLC and his friends at Floco Apps have teamed up to put together WVFindWater.com, an interactive map that shows water distribution sites in Kanawha County, as well as the 8 others currently under a state of emergency.
We saw on the news sites that really it was just a list of locations, some of which didn't have addresses, and basically I didn't know where they're actually located, so that just prompted the idea.
Spears says the website was launched Saturday afternoon and received thousands of clicks before day's end. For NPR News, I'm Dave Mistich in Charleston.
Celebrities are gathering for the first of the awards festivities in Hollywood tonight. It's the Golden Globes. Already on the NBC broadcast, Breaking Bad took the Globe for the Best TV Series drama, and Bryan Cranston took home Best Actor in a TV series or drama for that show. And also Jennifer Lawrence took home Best Actress for a movie for American Hustle. Jacqueline Bisset also took home a Globe for Best Supporting Actress in a miniseries. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from the Pew Charitable.
Is that inappropriate for your family members to say that I have a nice butt? Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISBNsports.com. Kids House only live and local all sports.